Hello everybody, it's a flashback to the daily edit today. Haven't done one of these for a long time. When I was doing a concerto a day during COVID, there was a concerto that I said we skipped because I didn't have a copy of the manuscript. However, I wrote to the good people at the University Library in Uppsala in Sweden, and they sent me the concerto in A minor RV 355. The manuscript is a bit of a nightmare, it has to be said. If you can have a look at that, it's quite difficult to make out in some places. It's not, by no stretch of the imagination, is it autograph, and it is riddled with mistakes. One of the things I've talked about in other videos is, when you are presented with a set of parts like this, how do you know how the concerto sounds? Well, you've got to basically put a score to put an edition together. So you get an idea. It's very possible that sometimes you look at a solo part and think, oh, that looks quite good, and then you put everything with it and you think, actually, no, it's bloody terrible. Anyway, this piece, the concerto in A minor, non-autographed manuscript. Normally, when you're dealing with a Vivaldi concerto, you'll get a handful of points that you need, like little small errors that you need to put down in the critical commentary at the back of the edition. This piece, however, just to give you an idea about what kind of state the manuscript is in, it got rather. There's so many things that are wrong in the manuscript. So all those things are corrections that I've had to make in order to put the edition together. Anyway, one of the interesting things about this concerto is that it was chucked out of the RV catalogue for bad behaviour, and then it was admitted, but then it was readmitted again. So it is back in the RV catalogue. It was chucked out the RV catalogue for reasons of, there were certain things about it that made scholars think, is it actually by Vivaldi? I've had a look at it, and I'd stake my house that this piece is absolutely by Vivaldi. There are things about it that might be unusual, but that is because I think it's an exceptionally early work, possibly one of the earliest concertos by Vivaldi that survived. Let's have a look at the piece. Just to go through very quickly. So, obviously, Vivaldi's known for his 3-movement concertos. This isn't in 3 movements. It's got a slow movement to start with, or an andante, followed by a quick movement that then has another little slow section at the end before a finale. But that is, given that it's an early concerto, that is not particularly surprising. So you've got in the first movement, you have this little section of 9 bars that gets repeated. That's relatively unusual, but you also find that in the G major solo concerto from Leicester Armonico in the finale. You get a little short section of the first ritornello that is then repeated, and then you continue with the rest of the movement. So entirely plausible as far as early Vivaldi goes. I can understand why some people might be, sceptical about, well, is it by Vivaldi? Are you just saying it's by Vivaldi just because you want another concerto in, to add to the tally? So let's be a bit scientific about it, yeah, and go through and see, have a look. So just in the first bar of the concerto, as my wife has just pointed out, and I completely missed it, this bim bom 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 bom, very Vivaldian, but as Camilla just pointed out, we played exactly that kind of figure recently when we played the Conca Concerto, opening of the slow movement of the Conca Concerto. Very, very, very good piece of music, that one. This kind of solo line, the way he modulates, very Vivaldi. Have a listen to this. Totally Vivaldi in that. At the end of the andante, you get this very serious piece of harmonic well, it's rather amazing actually, and just chucking sort of harmonic curveballs around all over the place. This is worth a listen. Etc. Yeah, I mean that's that kind of sort of really scrunchy harmonic short section you often get in particularly early Vivaldi. I mean, you also get it. I mean, if you look at, for instance, in the Opus 8 in the G minor concerto, number, I think is it number 7? No, 8. Concerto number 8. The opening of the slow movement, rather like not quite as nuts as that bit, but still in that frame. And then you come to the first allegro. You start with an unaccompanied bit of sort of barriolage string crossing. Not something you really come across in late Vivaldi, but early Vivaldi, yes, you do. For instance, the opening of the F major concerto RV 292 that we recorded back in 2005. Unaccompanied sort of violin riff before everybody comes in, and everybody then piles in at bar 5, and then you get this this amazing bass line sequence, which again, who else could write this? And then you get a lot. I mean, as you might expect with Vivaldi, early Vivaldi, a lot of the solo work is just sort of moto perpetuo, lots of semiquavers, not like his latest style. But this sort of crotchet rest accompaniment, again, exactly what you probably expect to see. Going through that movement, it's quite interesting. All this sort of string crossing here. It's written in shorthand in quavers, but should be played in semiquavers as string crossing. Very, very reminiscent of how Vivaldi constructs his sort of virtuosic cadenzas from the 1710s. Pieces like Grosso Mogul, the Concerto for the Feast of the Holy Tongue of St. Anthony, etc. Exactly that kind of writing you get there. And let's face it, that's only 10, 12, 13 years later. Then we come through. The manuscript survives as a set of parts, as I said. So the parts are solo violin, second violin, viola, cello, and basso. So the cello part is not figured, but the basso part is figured. I also think that there was a first violin part that has been lost somewhere along the lines. 99.9% of the concerto, the first violins would play the tutti patch, the parts that the soloist also plays. But there are a couple of very short places where I think, again, you get this in there's a short section in that concerto RV 292 that I mentioned. You also get it in RV 175, another really early piece where you get, although it's a solo violin piece, you get another solo violinist that just joins briefly. Even in Opus 8 number 7, you get, again, one or two little short passages where the soloist is joined by another violin. So I think it makes sense, for instance, for this patch in the first allegro, to have a second momentary soloist alongside. Going through again, we get this this sort of very sort of virtuosic string crossing, totally Vivaldi in that. And then you come to this adagio, which is all sort of alla francese, written in dotted rhythms. Again, that kind of thing you get a lot in Leicester Armonico, early Vivaldi. Also the Concerto RV 292. Yeah, you get that a lot. Before we move on to the last movement, and again, like the opening movement, you get a little burst of 8 bars that he then repeats before moving on with the rest of the concerto. Again, a lot of sort of moto perpetuo work. And again, this kind of accompaniment you see time and time and again in places like Feast of the Tongue of the St. Anthony, Grosso Mogul, etc. This sort of full accompaniment in sort of block chords.